Hello everyone and welcome to WGBS TV Live, brought to you by SupermanHomepage.com, the number one Superman fan site in the world. My name is Steve Eunice, and in this, our April 14th, 2020 show, we're going to be covering a range of topics over 2 weeks. We're going to be talking about another Lego DC animated movie coming up. We're going to be talking about further delays for the Supergirl TV series, some casting announcements for the Superman and Lois TV series, and so much more. We're also going to be turning to you to take your questions and comments on any particular Superman topic you would like to discuss, and to let you know how all that works and how you can get involved in tonight's show. He's not Batman. He's wearing a mask. He's Michael Bailey. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Steve. Man, I don't even know where to begin. It feels weird. I haven't done this in like 2 weeks. But anyways, WGBS Live is all about Superman, and therefore we want to hear from the Superman fans that are watching us live on YouTube. So about halfway through the show, and if we don't have too much on the docket, and you keep 6 feet away, we will start taking your calls. And to do that, you're going to need Skype. Go on Skype, find Superman homepage, message us that you'd like to be on the show, and then if we can get to you, we'll get to you. Now, a couple of things. 1, stay 6 feet away. 2, message us. Don't, just call because it can screw things up. And if we do have you on, please, if you have an external speaker that you're watching WGBS Live with, please turn that off or mute it until we're done with the call, because that can screw everything up because we're on a delay.
Yes, I forgot to put up that graphic. There it is, quickly there. Yes, call in. Don't call in. Message us. We will get onto you, and we'll hopefully have time to talk to you if we get through. What we had was 2 weeks worth of topics, and we want to thank our sponsors and patrons: Douglas Meacham, John Patrick Van Pelt, and Tina Murray. Appreciate your support. And if you do want to get involved with your comments, as we said on YouTube, we participate with the comments there, and we will have a look at your comments and react to them as the show goes on. The reason we weren't on last week, sadly, my father, Joe Eunice, passed away on the 5th of April. Here is a graphic I did of him a couple of months ago. He's on the left there is him at 21, and his older version of himself that I photoshopped, putting an arm around him. His dad at 73. He would have been 75 next month, but he passed away, as I said, on the 5th of April, and we miss him greatly. But I just wanted to pay tribute to my dad right there.
Yeah, like I told you before we started, I was really sorry to hear that. You told me that he wasn't well, but it seemed like he was doing pretty good there for a while. But yeah, it's like you said to me, this is a weird time just because, with everything else going on. I mean, it's just the normal kind of grief process is a little different because people can't bring stuff over to your house and come visit and see you and stuff. So
that's right, and he would have had a massive send-off if we'd been able to have a normal funeral. Easily 350 plus people would have been, if not more, at his funeral. But with the restrictions the way they are at the moment, we were struggling to even allow our immediate family members. The current restrictions here are 10 people at a funeral, and our immediate family is 15. So that made it quite difficult with partners and grandchildren and mum and my dad's brothers. So that's. But I want to thank everyone who sent their condolences and sent messages of support over the last couple of weeks. I really appreciate those. So, and thanks to everyone who's sending us comments now on the YouTube live comments there. But let's push on. We do have quite a bit to get through on tonight's Superman topics. And as we like to do with movie news, we do have some movie news in the animated form, that is, with Lego DC Shazam, Magic and Monsters is the name of the new animated movie. There is the Blu-ray DVD combo pack cover there. Superman and the Justice League are involved, which is why we were speaking about it tonight. I've always liked these Lego DC animated movies. I think they're a lot of fun.
Yeah, they usually are. The games are a lot of fun, too. I'm really curious at the timing of this release, though. You figured they would have done this last year with the film. But it's cool that they're pushing Shazam as a property, and it's a good, when done a certain way, it could be a good like kids property. So it's a good. I'm really. I may not buy the Blu-ray, but when it pops up on like Cartoon Network, I'll probably sit down and watch it.
Well, let's have a look at the promo trailer that was released for it right now. The movie will be released digitally April 28th, so not long for the digital release. But the Blu-ray combo pack and DVD won't be available to June 16th, that's a fair gap between the digital release and the physical copy.
Yeah, that's weird. I mean, nowadays probably better, but that is strange.
Yep. All right, here's the trailer for it.
Gather all the food for the master.
I got this.
Who are you?
I'm Shazam.
Shaz what now?
Shazbot?
Shazam!
All you've ever wanted was a family, Billy. Nothing creates trust like helping those in need.
Welcome.
To the Monster Society of Evil!
Is that a talking worm? I mean, come on, we fight worms now?
The adult mind is hard to manipulate, but the mind of a child...
I'm a kid? Being a kid isn't that bad. Does two!
Does not Infinity Plus one!
Together, you can defeat this evil. I am Black Adam.
Holy moly.
I'm coming for all of you!
Kids, I've got a plan.
Foolish children, your games won't stop me.
Execute plan, playtime. Batter up!
Sorry, kids. You need to be this high to fight me.
Oh, man.
He's joking, Flash.
Oh, I knew that.
Okay, no. I thought you said you'd done this.
Of course I have. I'm an adult.
So there you have it, the animated movie Shazam, Magic and Monsters, with the Justice League being turned into little kids.
Yeah, that's adorable. I like the fact that they got Jessica Cruz as the Green Lantern. That's a pretty big bump for that character too. But no, the one thing that really caught me about that trailer is that Billy was wearing a T-shirt that said Wiz, and it was the logo for Wiz Comics. So that was a cute little Easter egg. He'll always be Captain Marvel to me, but I'm not going to make a big deal of it.
Yeah, I know. So yes, as I said, April 28th for the digital release of that animated film, and the Blu-ray DVD combo packs will be available June 16th. And as someone in the comments said, probably they're bumping the digital release forward due to the COVID-19 restrictions and things. That could be a possibility to give people something to watch. I still haven't got around to watching Superman Red Sun yet.
Yeah, neither have I. I'm hip deep in a huge podcasting thing that's coming in May, so I'm trying to get ahead of that, so I'm not playing like behind the eight ball when that happens. So yeah, it's sitting, it's on my phone. I can download it and watch it at any time, and yet I just haven't. But I'm also still working, which is good. But it's not like I'm just in the house. I go to work every day, and it's different.
So have you
It
been
really
wearing
is.
these masks that your wife Rachel has actually been making, I believe?
Yes. She see, for like the past 15 years, she's been buying fabric, and a lot of superhero fabric, a lot of different types of fabric, and she's never got around to using any of it. So when this happened, she realized she could make masks. She started making me masks, and then people started asking about it. So it's making her feel like she's helping. But she has so much Superman and Batman and like other types of comic book fabrics that I've got a mask for every day at work. And here's the thing. I'm glad I have them. I need to wear them. This thing is a pain to wear for 8 hours.
I can imagine. It's making me claustrophobic just watching you.
I mean, seriously, I'm just gonna go ahead and take it off now. This was mainly to make you laugh, but and I'm so glad that I shaved like the beard off.
Oh yeah.
A couple like before all this happened, because I cannot imagine having like a full beard under there. So, but yeah, it's such a pain. It's such a pain for 8 hours, but we gotta take this seriously.
Oh,
I mean,
sure.
you know, like using the hand sanitizer, and we're keeping the store clean and trying to stay 6 feet away from people, and not everybody's on that program. So there's some people that still kind of get right in your face. So but,
the close talkers. I see they've been promoting that on the Seinfeld episode for that in here in Australia. Is about social distancing, and they're using the close talker from the Seinfeld episode as a and then there's the one with Elaine running out with the toilet paper. I can't scare a square. Still relevant.
That's starting to calm down a little bit in this area. We here in Georgia, about on the 7th, we got the shelter-in-place order, and there was another like panic buying around that. But I was at the store today. There's not any bleach to be found because everyone's now just making their own bleach spray. But you can buy bread and you can buy toilet paper, and it's kind of coming back to normal on that front.
Venkman in the comments saying that of course there's no new comics about at the moment. Maybe we should bring back the Bailey's Bookshelf segment that we used to do.
I could prep that. I mean, we've got a lot of stuff to talk about.
If we ever have a need.
Since I've been doing that, I can definitely like just pick a book and send you the information on it, and then do like a little like 2 or 3 minute segment all about it. I don't know if I want to do any of the omnibuses because I don't want to pull something, but maybe I should, because I haven't been able to go to the gym in like over a month, and I'm not gaining any weight, but I am feeling the loss of that.
Yeah, I've been working out in my brother's garage. He's got a bit of a mini gym going there, so just trying to maintain myself. But we push on and look at, because of COVID-19, our friend Scott Cranford, who was at one stage the official town Superman for the Superman celebration in Metropolis, Illinois, he a couple of years ago put together a documentary titled Heroic Ambition, which it's 10 years now since that documentary was released, and it basically covers his involvement with the Superman celebration, becoming the town Superman, and what that was all like. And he's now released that online for free for everyone to be able to watch during these times of restriction. There's Scott in his heyday, and a great guy, Scott Cranford. His website, heroicworld.com, is all about what you can do as a superhero, and how you can help people. And the website for the documentary is heroicambition.com. And as I said, Scott's now released that documentary online. You can watch it via our website. Just head to supermanhomepage.com or heroicambition.com and check out that documentary, which is available now to watch for free online.
Yeah, he had stepped down as Superman before I got to go to Metropolis. So I don't think I've actually gotten a chance to meet him, but I remember it was a big deal that he was in that World's Finest fan trailer years ago. That was really well done too. That company did a lot of really cool stuff, but he sure looked the part. I mean,
yeah, he was a great guy.
Like Superman.
The first year I went to Metropolis for the Superman celebration, I think it was 2003, was it? Possibly. Or was that the year? What year did you go? 2008?
I went in 2008, so it was like 5 years before that. So
so 2003, and they were doing a production on the stage there, and they asked me to stand in for him because he was busy doing other things. So just for for rehearsals, they asked me just to stand in with him opposite the lady who was playing Lois Lane, who ended up becoming the wife of why am I skipping on his name? The great artist, spray paints, everything. Oh,
I got nothing. I'm
nothing.
really sorry.
You know, he does the airbrush. Comic book artist.
Alex Ross?
Alex Ross.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Thank
Okay.
you for saving me there. I was having a total blank. Alex Ross ended up marrying this lady who was a big Superman fan at the time, and they met, I think, at the Superman celebration. And I was acting opposite her just for the rehearsal period, which is the only time I'll ever get to play Superman.
I don't know, Steve. You're keeping in fighting trim there, so I mean, you never know. I mean, everyone's going to be acting from their houses now, so you can just put on a wig and get a costume.
And it's a couple of inches.
No, Rob Paul, not Banksy. It's not.
No,
it's,
sorry,
it's not Banksy.
No, Alex Ross. I just had a blank moment.
I didn't even know who Banksy was until an episode of Doctor Who last year. So apparently, I am very unaware of the mystery artist scene in this world.
So heroicworld.com if you want to watch that documentary. Now, just the last bit of Superman movie information. The Pittsburgh Symphony Brass put together a stay-at-home message using the John Williams theme, and I thought it was really well done. Have a look. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but definitely worth checking out. It's on our website. So there you have it, just a bit of what they put together there, using something like Zoom, I guess, and just editing it all together so that they were able to put the trumpets, the horn, the trombones, and the tuba all together, edited and mixed and mastered by Jim Nova. So well done to the Pittsburgh Symphony Brass.
Yeah, I am fascinated by the sheer amount of ingenuity people are showing in terms of just giving people entertainment right now, because we're all stuck at home, and like you have all these stars of old TV shows like doing charity
concerts
and stuff like that, or viewing parties and all that, and it's just it proves to me that in the short run, when there's a crisis, people will band together. And try to help each other as they can. So I'm just fascinated that we're able to use this technology to do this. But I will say this, and I'm going to say this before we get to the next thing, because it's been really on my mind recently. Since all of the news networks are now like pretty much doing all their stuff from the commentators' homes, I feel a lot better about what we do, Steve. I really do.
We're groundbreakers.
Because I used to be like, it doesn't look as good, and then I'm seeing some of these like pros that have $1 million budgets in their organization, and I'm like, nah, we're doing fine. We're doing great. This is amazing. So.
We do a good job, I imagine. A lot of these people are out of their comfort zones at the moment, trying to do it from a home setup, and this is our comfort zone. We're couldn't be more comfortable. All right, so pushing on to the television side of things, there's been a further delay to new episodes of Supergirl. The CW look, this episode, what was it? Episode, what are we up to? 17 of season 5. Yeah, it was supposed to originally be scheduled for March 29th, was then pushed back to April 26th. Now it won't be seen until Sunday, May 3rd. So a couple of more weeks, nearly a month, until the next episode of Supergirl will air. Now, the interesting thing about that is that the season finale for season 5 is still scheduled for May 17th, which, when you do the math on that, means we'll only be getting 19 episodes in season 5.
Which, you read the different, rumor posts and stuff like that. It might have more to do with her being pregnant than everything going on. I mean, I'm sure production shutting down is definitely a problem, but I don't know. This is a problem guys playing Superman don't have. They never have to really worry about the baby bump and having to explain that. So it's like one of those things where you're really super happy, but at the same time you realize it's gonna cut into something. But I'm sure they'll make the most of it. It just really depends on how many episodes they had planned out, what they had planned out for those episodes, and how many of those later in the season episodes were kind of filler.
Yeah.
That can kind of be condensed down into 2 or 3 episodes.
I imagine that the season 5 DVD Blu-ray will probably have some cut scenes or some deleted scenes that, of stuff that had filmed for whatever 2 more episodes that they probably would have been able to put. And then, obviously had to be cut to condense the stories down into a couple of episodes only instead of 4 or 5. They're going to 2 or 3, which probably means we'll be getting to tighter storylines, because sometimes they can fluff out some episodes to make up the 40 odd minutes worth of footage that they need.
Yeah, the thing I think is going to suffer more than anything are the side characters. Because you really have to deal with the main characters at this point, so there might be less in the way of scenes with. I say that, and yet they've been doing a really good job over the past couple of episodes of pulling all of the characters together into the main plot. So maybe it'll be a little more balanced, and maybe that'll give Melissa a little less, unfortunately, a little less screen time, but maybe more breathing room, given her situation.
Well, so what that means is May 3rd, episode 17, May 10th, episode 18, and May 17th will be the 19th and final episode of season 5. And they may be able to pick up whatever other stories that they were planning to tell in those extra episodes in season 6, but probably not if they're doing a finale with some kind of cliffhanger ending. Those kind of threads just might be left on the cutting room floor. But 3 more episodes, as far as we know: May 3rd, May 10th, May 17th. John's asking, does that mean there'll be a new episode on Mother's Day? I'm not sure when Mother's Day is. Is that May 10th?
May 10th or May 17th, one of those. Probably May 10th.
So yes, there probably will be an episode that night. Speaking of the next episode, titled Deus Ex Machina, let's have a look at the trailer for that right now. I think it has a new date on it as well.
First order of business is destroying the Kryptonians.
It's not gonna happen.
It won't stop until they uncover the truth. The beginning of the end.
No!
I saved the world.
Supergirl, new episode May 3rd, free next day only on the CW app.
So there you have it, May 3rd, a very Lex-centric episode, obviously with the title, and this is Melissa Benoist's directorial debut as well in this episode.
Yeah, it's always cool when the lead steps in. I know that I think Dean Cain directed a couple of episodes, or at least wrote one of the episodes of Lois and Clark. I know Gerard Christopher directed some Superboy, and Tom Welling definitely directed some Smallville. So it seems to be like this thing that I don't know if it's like something the lead wants to do, or it's where they want to transition afterwards. But I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah, so that's
when
the
it
next
finally
episode.
happens.
May 3rd. So that's when we have to look forward to. And then beyond that and elsewhere, we have some casting announcements for the upcoming Superman and Lois TV series. Now, we still don't know what's happening with the schedule for that series, when it will debut, if it will, if they've filmed anything or shot anything. I know they're going straight to series. They're not doing a pilot and then, it's just been ordered straight to series. Obviously, television productions have been shut down worldwide with COVID-19, but they are still doing the casting process. Maybe people are sending in videos online, doing it that way. But we do have a couple of announcements as far as some of the series regulars are concerned. And first off, we have Dylan Walsh has been cast in the role of General Sam Lane. Now, we had seen Glenn Morshower play that role on the Supergirl TV series, but I think he was only in one episode, which was back in the season 1 finale. So they've recast that role for this series, and Dylan Walsh, who has been in a number of things and is a familiar face, will be playing a serious army general whose main mission is to protect the United States as well as the world from any threats, whether it comes from on or off Earth. And anyone who works for or together with him is expected to perform 110% no matter what.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that they recast him. And it's nothing against that actor. It's just he was kind of always gave wooden performances. And he usually played like a military official. Like everything I can think of seeing him in, I remember he was like either a general or in uniform somehow, and that's like going back to like 2010 in Good Night and Good Luck. But given how General Lane was portrayed in the script, I would think you would want somebody that's a little more charismatic in that role.
Next up, we have the role of Lana Lang with and I'm going to mispronounce her name here. I'll just turn that one off there. Emmanuelle Chriqui.
Something like that.
Yeah, she was recently in The Passage. She's been cast as Lana Lang, who in this series is a loan officer at a bank who is married and has 2 daughters, a 16-year-old and an 8-year-old. Lana's life takes a turn when she reconnects with her high school boyfriend, Clark Kent, which in turn is another straining factor in her marriage. Saw a lot of remarks on social media about this casting, with people saying, 1, she's not a redhead, what's going on? 2, you shouldn't cast someone as Lana who is prettier or sexier than Lois Lane.
I don't know. Elizabeth Tulloch is a very attractive woman. I think it's kind of funny that they went for a more Kristen Crook type for Lana. I'm not surprised, but I'm kind of surprised that they didn't cast her, because age appropriate, she would be right for the role, and maybe she wouldn't have to stand on an apple cart as high doing scenes with Tyler Hoechlin. No, I know nothing about this woman, but these people have rarely done bad casting.
Yeah.
So if they're casting her, she had a really good audition, and she has really good chemistry, probably not only with Tyler, but with Elizabeth Tulloch as well.
And hopefully with her on-screen husband, who will be played by Eric Valdez. He has been Graceland, and he's been cast in the role of Kyle Cushing. So obviously Lana keeping her, or she could be Lana Lang Cushing, but he is a fire station chief who has basically become a hero in his own right to the town of Smallville. He is described as being an alcoholic who has seen a lot of darkness in humanity, and has some problematic issues that affect those around him with his problematic attitude, I should say. So it sounds like he's a dark and disturbed individual.
Yeah, I have a feeling the problems in their marriage have nothing to do with Clark.
He's just another thorn in his side, I guess, at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, so having read the script, these for the pilot episode, that is, it's an interesting role, and Lana and her husband play pivotal roles in the pilot episode, and obviously being series regulars, they're going to continue, as will their daughters, be a part of the story.
Yeah, I was happy with how they treated Lana, because she can be a tough needle to thread sometimes. Like, do you want to have like the obvious like attraction between the two of them, or are they just good friends? You know, we got the attraction in Superman 3. There was obviously an attraction in Smallville. That was kind of like the crux of the first 5 or 6 years of the show. So, when she wasn't learning kung fu and getting taken over by a witch and stuff like that. Kind of hoping nothing like that happens, but it's going to be interesting because this show is as much about the kids as it is about the adults.
For sure.
So it's going to be an interesting balance to see how they do that.
Yeah, and I don't imagine this version of Clark and Lois, as tight as they are together, will have any jealousy issues about, a love triangle or anything like that. I think it's more Lana's husband who will be probably a jealous guy for no reason, because Lana and Clark are probably, just like you said, really good friends.
Yeah, I like the dynamic that Lana and Lois are friends.
Yeah.
They obviously have something in common, but everyone's an adult in the situation, so it's not like, oh, you're after my man.
Yeah.
God, I hope they don't play it like that.
No, not at all. So that's the casting announcements that have been announced for Superman and Lois, beyond what we already know with the Jonathan and Jordan Kent, and obviously Tyler Hoechlin and Elizabeth Tulloch playing Clark and Lois. And we look forward to more announcements and hopefully some kind of a schedule as to when that might start filming, or when we might see the pilot episode air down the track sometime. Everything is up in the air at the moment because of the coronavirus situation. But you mentioned Smallville, and deepfake videos seem to be a popular thing at the moment, and with the technology available to us with home computers, you got to wonder why Justice League wasn't better done with the whole moustache situation.
Yeah, the more you see people doing stuff like that, the more you realize that I think the studio was trying to tank the film to a certain extent.
Seemed to be something going on there, but a video creator called Jarkin has put together a couple of Tom Welling as Superman, Smallville / Man of Steel videos using the deepfake technology. So virtually Tom Welling's face on Henry Cavill's body. Check out one of the videos, the first one that he released last week, April 13th, and there's another one up on our website as well. Have a look, see what you think.
Your journey has come to an end, Connor.
I should have tried to push away my Kryptonian self. My strength is accepting it. Accepting you.
You honor me. A father's pride cannot be measured in words, but know that I am proud of you, son.
You have no idea how long I've waited to hear you say that.
We have been down a long road together, Kal-El. One paved with difficult trials. Those trials are behind you now. Any father can only hope that he is one day humbled by the feats of his son. But it is your soul, Kal-El, of which I am most proud. You, and you alone, possess the courage, the determination, and the compassion that will be required of you to lift the darkness from the earth. I ask you to remember one thing. Your abilities may be of my blood, but it is your time in Smallville with Jonathan and Martha Kent and all the people there that made you a hero.
So there you have it. That's just part of the first video, the deepfake video putting Tom Welling's face on Henry Cavill's body. Thoughts?
It's creepy. Here's the thing. years ago they did one of those things where they put like all of the faces of the people that played Superman together and like composited to one face, and it made me realize that essentially, even though they all look different, they all have basically the same facial structure. So it's the reason why I think it works as well as it does is because both Henry and Tom have like a lantern jaw. The only thing that's thrown me off is the hair, because that just doesn't look like even the hair we saw on the Crisis episode just doesn't look like Tom Welling. But this guy wanted to do it. It doesn't look terrible, and it's not too creepy, and at least it's not deep fake porn. So
yeah, it's interesting technology. So, yeah, I mean, people have wondered what it would be like. I don't really think... I mean, Tom seems to have a lot of bags under his eyes in these videos, but...
he's just not getting a lot of sleep. It's that grueling shooting schedule. It's just getting to him.
So, well done to Jarkin for putting those together, and there might be some more coming, but 2 of them are available on our website if you're interested in checking them out. All right, we're just over the halfway point of tonight's show. We're going to take a quick break and then come back on the flip side with more TV stuff, some comic book stuff, and we'll get into some other areas of the Superman fandom in this weird world that we're currently living in. So, quick break, some messages, and then we'll be back with more right after this.
We'll be back in a moment with the exciting climax of today's episode. So stand by.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird.
It's a plane. No, it's SupermanHomepage.com, the #1 Superman fan site in the world. SupermanHomepage.com, covering the world of Superman from the 1930s to today. News, reviews, rumors, and reports. SupermanHomepage.com for all your Superman comics, TV shows, movies, cartoons, radio shows, and more. Everything you ever wanted to know about the Man of Steel and more. SupermanHomepage.com.
Thanks, Superman Homepage, for all the support over the years. I really appreciate it.
I'm Matt Balmer. I'm the voice of Superman in Superman Unbound, and this is the Superman Homepage.
Right here on Superman Homepage.
To stop the evil Doomsday, you need a hero who's more than a man. He's been called the greatest, the strongest, the first among heroes. High-voltage villain Conduit is powered by kryptonite, but with krypton cannon blasting, laser Superman powers him down. Conduit will learn, don't mess with the S. It's the dreaded Doomsday, the most fearsome force in the universe. Even Doomsday will learn, you don't mess with the S. Superman figures each sold separately, blocks not included.
Don't mess with the S.
Yeah, I remember when Superman could just support his own action figure line with no movie to back it up. That was... You've played ads like that before. I loved that action figure line. I absolutely loved it. It was very faithful to the comics of that time period.
Yep, Conduit. I wonder if he'll ever make a comeback.
Well, we could start a rumor that he's in the Snyder cut of Justice League since Kenny Braverman was in Man of Steel.
Yeah. Very good. I like that. All right, in some sad news, Julie Bennett, who took over the voice of Lois Lane when Joan Alexander left the 1966 New Adventures of Superman animated series, she passed away March 31st at the age of 88 due to complications with COVID-19. Not many people really had heard of Julie Bennett. Joan Alexander was obviously the very popular voice of Lois Lane from the 1940s radio series. Julie Bennett voiced the role of Lois, and you probably couldn't tell the difference between her and Joan Alexander for the most part.
Yeah, again, it's been years since I watched those, but I doubt I would have noticed much of a difference between the two of them. And it's nothing against either woman, but that's the thing about this this virus is that it's taken out a lot of people who were in the entertainment industry and are on the older side. So I just don't want to really do more of these stories.
No.
You know,
our condolences to her family and friends. She's voiced a lot of characters over the years: Cindy Bear, Kitty Joe from the Chattanooga Cats, Boo from the Mighty Orbits, Agatha and Emily, the two-headed vulture from Looney Tunes, Auntie May, and others. Probably dating our age, if you remember any of those characters.
I was about to say the Mighty Orbots. Oh my god, I haven't thought about that in decades.
She was born January 24th, 1932, and died in Los Angeles. So we, as I said, our thoughts go out and prayers go out to her family and friends. Even at 88, to die early because of complications with this virus is a real tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so moving on to the comic book side of things, and there aren't many comic books out there at the moment. We still have a ways to go before we get any new comic books, whether that be digital or physical. But looking ahead, way ahead, DC Comics this week announced a new young adult graphic novel that will come out in January 2021, titled The House of L. And this is the cover for it right there. Written by author Claudia Gray, who's acclaimed for her Star Wars novels, Evernight series, and other sci-fi fantasy works. Coming out next January, as I said, is a brand new vision of the destruction of Krypton. In The House of L, Gray will explore life on Krypton through the eyes of Zahn and Sierra, two teenagers who are different in every way, as they come together to investigate the dangers threatening their planet. It's a 3-part graphic novel series, and sounds quite interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree of, see Krypton as it's never been presented before, because, we just had 2 seasons of a show about Krypton. But if you're going to do a YA series, it's the interesting thing about it is that it's 2 original characters. They're not trying to show like Jor-El and Laura as teenagers, having adventures together. So I could take or leave Krypton stories. Usually they're very entertaining. So I'm not quite on the Krypton exists only to blow up kind of camp, but at the same time it's not something I go out of my way. But saw a lot of people on Twitter excited about this, so I have a feeling it's going to do very well.
Yeah, it's illustrated by Eric Zawadzki, who's done some more particular book called Heart Attack is what's referenced here. And as I said, this will January 5th, it will come out 2021, and 3-part graphic novel series. So looking forward to seeing what comes from this graphic novel. Some of the young adult stuff gets poo-pooed too much, I reckon. Some of it is really good storytelling and great artwork, and it's a genre that a lot of people just kind of dismiss. But I look at the Lois Lane series. We had the author, skipping on her name right now, Gwenda Bond. Yes, Gwenda. She was fantastic, a big Superman fan, Supergirl fan, and those Lois Lane books were awesome young adult novels. And so maybe we can get the author of these, to Claudia Gray, to come on our show sometime down the track.
I think the thing is that people, especially people like around our age, can get kind of stuck in this mentality that just because it's geared towards a younger audience that it doesn't have anything to offer. And it's possible, it may not do anything for you, but this is DC's attempt to get a younger audience to read comics. And obviously, even before all this happened, the industry wasn't in the best of shape. So, guys, we gotta try.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when you consider it, Harry Potter was a young adult graphic novel. So, and that's been a worldwide phenomenon. So, yeah, I'm all for young adult novels for the Superman family of characters or new characters. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this goes. All right, and speaking of the comic book industry and the fact that we have no new comic books at the moment and what's happening with the COVID-19, the pandemic, Vanity Fair has published an article on how comic books can be an excellent tool in helping parents homeschool their children during this time. And they've interviewed DC Comics archivist Benjamin Leclerc, who was asked about, where do you start when you're looking at comic books for homeschooling? And he said, well, you can't go past Superman. He says here, you should probably start with a superhero who started it all. Best place to start is at the beginning with Superman #1 from 1939. Yes, Action Comics #1 is where he first appeared a year earlier, but Superman #1 reprints the first 4 Superman stories from Action Comics, including some missing pages that flesh out the plot to that first story. And he also goes on to recommend some other Superman books, including All-Star Superman, Action Comics 309, Superman Shazam First Thunder, and others.
Yeah, definitely Superman Shazam First Thunder. That's an excellent series. Yeah, I like the parsing he did in recommending Superman #1, and then having the technicality that it actually was the first 4 adventures reprinted with the kind of a director's cut of the first issue. So very clever, very clever. I approve.
Yeah, so and I think parents could do worse than using comic books as a method of getting their kids to do some reading at home, because they are fun and they are visual, as well as there's some, obviously reading that needs to be done.
Yeah, and exposing them to different eras, I think, kind of exposes them to the idea that art evolves. So if you're showing them like Superman #1 and then Superman 309 and then All-Star Superman, at that point you're really, you're showing them like, okay, this is how these stories were told here, and you can kind of getting them thinking of the literature on a critical level in addition to entertainment.
Now, Mind the Gap in the comments is saying, is that really a good place to start with that Superman #1? I mean, well, when you think about it on a canonical and just logistical perspective, you probably don't want to go back 80 plus years to try to start reading if you want to collect. But as a story on its own, it's probably not a bad place.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, is that you ask 10 different Superman fans the same question, no matter what the question, you're going to get 10 different answers. So, on that level, Mind the Gap's got a point, but on the other level, even though not a lot of what eventually developed as Superman was there in the Golden Age, it's still important to kind of show how it all started.
Yeah, for sure. All right, now on the that's it. Comic books. There really isn't much at the moment. Anthony in the comments mentions that Batman the Animated Series digital sequel. There's a comic book digital title that is being released at the moment. DC have been promoting that, but that's obviously not Superman related for us. But I think we can be. I think it's April. What is it? The 29th is when new comic books will start to be released digitally. So you can look forward to new comic books. I think it's the Justice League and the Lois Lane titles. The issues from those series will be the books for Superman fans that we can next look forward to as far as new material is concerned. And that, as I said, April 29th. So looking for that. Venkman asks, stupid question, what happened in Superman number 309 to make it such a pivotal issue?
Not a whole lot. It's looking at this, it's not like like an important first appearance or anything. Maybe that guy just liked Superman number 309. Has Superman fighting a green suit of armor on the top. So, yep, no idea.
You'll have to read it to find out. All right, so on the merchandise side of things, Hallmark are back at it with another musical ornament for looking ahead to Christmas, and they are taking pre-orders now for their Super Friends Hall of Justice musical ornament. So the Hall of Justice musical ornament has you can relive the Saturday morning cartoon staple with his Christmas tree ornament featuring the iconic fortress that plays music and Ted Knight's original narration from the show's classic theme song. Obviously this is battery operated. Magic Sound Christmas tree ornament. Press the button on the ornament to hear music from the Super Friends theme song, and this will be released October 3rd and is available from Hallmark.com for $29.99 US.
Meanwhile, under the Christmas tree.
Yeah, so that's the ornament there, the Super Friends logo on the back, and that's what it looks like when it's hung on a tree. And you'd run out of battery pretty quick. I'd just be playing that over and over again.
That's fair. I mean, I get creeped out by battery operated stuff. Like, do you take the battery out when you store the ornament at the end of the season?
You would have to, otherwise they go rusty, don't they?
Yeah, and then it can leak, and then it's just ruined at that point.
Yeah. So Venkman is saying he knows that Superman 300 is the Superman 2001 imaginary story. So he was thinking maybe that could be the one that they were thinking about, but yeah.
Gotta hope not. I'm not really a fan of that issue, which puts me on the outs with a lot of Superman fans. But what else is new?
Now, DC Comics or DC Entertainment, back in April 1st, actually, on April 1st, they released a series of virtual backgrounds, which I currently have one behind me here, with people having to social distance with each other, using Zoom and Skype to call one another and have these, ways of being able to chat with each other. They're saying, why use your bedroom background or your lounge room as the backdrop for your video conferencing? Why not use one of their virtual backgrounds? A collection of them were released. There was the Daily Planet, there's the Fortress of Solitude behind me, there's the Hall of Justice, obviously the Batcave and other DC locations that you can use. You can download them, you put them on your phone, put them on your computer, and use them as backgrounds in those virtual communication apps.
Yeah, I appreciate your commitment to the bit by wearing a jacket when you're at the Fortress of Solitude.
Probably
I imagine exactly.
But so here's some of the backgrounds. Let's just have a quick look at them. There's the Daily Planet with the Metropolis there. You've got the one that I'm using at the moment, the Fortress of Solitude. And then you've got the Hall of Justice is just another one of the Superman related ones that you might like to use as a background for your next video conference.
Steve, I'm right outside the Hall of Justice. The Super Friends are inside right now.
Anthony in the comments is asking, any word on Generation Zero? Scott Snyder is claiming Dark Knight's Metal sequel will allegedly now act as the reboot itself. I haven't heard anything about that.
Yeah.
I know the G5 thing, 5G was, what Didio was planning. I guess now with everything being the way it is with the coronavirus situation and comic books being put on hold, really it's anyone's guess as to where things might go from this point onwards.
Yeah, it's a little scary because we've talked a lot in the past year about the state of the comic book industry and where we are, and now we're in this really precarious time, not just because of COVID-19, just on a general level that we're all kind of scared because there's a pandemic going on, but basically all of the entertainment we consume, it's kind of up in the air of how that's going to go on. Now, maybe it won't be as much of a blip, and once things kind of return to normal, slowly, comic stores will start reopening. But, a lot of small businesses are taking a serious hit right now, mainly because we're trying to save the human race. So it's like one of those things where you don't want anybody to lose their livelihood, but you also don't want them to lose their lives. And the thing, hate to get on a soapbox here, but the thing that bugged me is last week there was this kerfuffle over here where people were like, "Oh, the death projections are lower now." Isn't that a good thing? Doesn't it mean like everything we've done has worked? But no, we need to get the economy started back up. So it's just a really weird time to be alive.
Yeah, and we just don't know what the new normal will be, because it won't go back to the way it was. Things will definitely be changed. There'll be a lot of industries that will discover that working from home is a viable option, and that will alter the way people go to work. There'll be some businesses and that will change and adapt. Some will die off. Some won't be able to get back on their feet, and others might just change tact and go on a different direction, just because of what they've had to go through at the moment. We just don't know when or what will the world will look like when we come out of this. There'll definitely be changes. We don't know if comic book stores will be able to survive. If they have lost their business now, they're on a shoestring budget as it was. So we'll just have to wait and see what the new aspect or outlook on life will be once we come out of this at sometime down the track.
And that just keeps getting pushed off more and more, it seems. But
like you got to say, we've got to save lives, and until there's I don't know what threshold you want to get to, but that's more important than any financial kind of aim that we're looking at. But it's a bit of both. It's a two-pronged sword, or two-pronged whatever, two-edged sword. You know what I'm saying? Yes,
I know exactly what you're saying.
All right, the Super Trivia Quiz, our monthly segment that we do at the Superman homepage, has been renewed at the beginning of this month. So the 3 questions we're asking you this time around are: which villain did Superman kill first in the Injustice comic book saga? So now, question number 2, what were the names of the 3 villains Superman fatally exposed to green kryptonite radiation in the Pocket Universe in Superman number 22 from 1988? And the 3rd and final question, what were Zod's final words before Superman snapped his neck in the movie Man of Steel? If you think you know the answers to all 3 questions, head to the Superman homepage website now. You'll find the Super Trivia Quiz under the Favorites menu. Don't put the answers in the comments here. Head to the website, submit your entry, and everyone who guesses it right will have their name included on next month's Super Trivia Quiz update.
That second one's a trick question, folks. You got to really think about it, because it's not what you think it is.
Yes, you have to know your stuff. You have to know your villains. All right, well, that pretty much brings us to the end of tonight's show. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to WGBS TV Live. I want to thank everyone for the comments they made with their condolences at the beginning of the show for the passing of my dad. And I want to thank you, my co-host, Mr. Michael Bailey. Thank you, Mike.
Pleasure as always, Steve.
Now, remember, WGBS TV Live will be back next week on Tuesday, April 21st at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. I want to thank our sponsors and patrons, Douglas Meacham, John Patrick Van Pelt, and Tina Murray. And if you missed part of the show or want to tune in late or want to watch it back in full, this episode of WGBS TV Live will be available on the Superman homepage website and our YouTube channel if you want to watch it back in full. But until next week, I'm Steve Eunice. Thanks for watching WGBS TV Live. And if you want to support the Superman homepage, please head to patreon.com/Superman homepage. I'm Steve Eunice. On behalf of myself and Michael Bailey, thanks for watching WGBS TV Live, brought to you by supermanhomepage.com.